long before the clash of blades, long before the dust of war rises, long before a single soldier takes a step. There is another battlefield, a silent one, a hidden one, a battlefield made of belief, expectation, and fear. Sun Tzu understood something most people overlook. The real war begins in perception. Win the mind, and the body follows. Win the perception, and the victory is already sealed. He didn't obsess over brute force. He didn't rely on the size of his army. He mastered the space where all conflict truly begins. How the enemy sees you, how the enemy interprets you, how the enemy misunderstands you. For Sun Tzu, deception wasn't trickery. It was strategy. It was mathematics. It was psychological warfare at its purest form. Because perception is the gatekeeper of reality. And whoever controls the gate controls everything that follows. Sun Tzu begins his teachings with a line so simple, yet so devastating that most people never grasp its full weight. All warfare is based on deception. Not some warfare, not occasional tactics, all of it. Why? Because humans do not act on truth. They act on their version of the truth, on filtered information, on incomplete data, on fears they inherited, and assumptions they never questioned. You don't attack the enemy's body. You attack the illusions they cling to. Sun Tzu understood that illusions are everywhere. People trust their instincts even when they're wrong. People follow their emotions even when they're blind. People react to appearances even when those appearances are staged. People build entire lives on flawed interpretations. And once you know this, you don't need to overpower them. You need to outthink the illusions that control them. To defeat someone, you don't break their strength, you break their understanding. Sun Tzu's genius was not in predicting movements, but in sculpting perceptions. He didn't just fight battles, he designed them. He crafted the way his opponents saw him. If he was weak, he looked strong. If he was strong, he looked weak. If he was near, he appeared far. If he was far, he appeared near. Every message he sent, every signal he crafted, every silence he maintained was a weapon. Most people fight directly, revealing their intentions with every move. Sun Tzu made the enemy fight shadows. He understood. People don't respond to reality. They respond to their interpretation of reality. And those interpretations can be shaped like clay, in the hands of someone patient enough to mold them. You control their sight. You control their expectations. You control their responses. You control the fight. And eventually, you control the outcome. Sun Tzu's brilliance wasn't just in deception. It was in absence. He mastered the art of being unreadable. He knew that once someone can predict you, they can prepare for you. And once they prepare, they neutralize your advantage. So he avoided clarity. He avoided patterns. He avoided predictability. He became a question mark in human form. Be formless, be shapeless. This wasn't poetry. It was tactical dominance. If the enemy cannot see your plan, they cannot counter it. If they cannot counter it, they exhaust themselves fighting their own imagination. A predictable person is easy prey. An unpredictable person is untouchable. And Sun Tzu wanted to be untouchable. Sun Tzu didn't deceive for sport. He deceived for structure. Every false opening, every silent retreat, every exaggerated weakness was a brick in a psychological fortress. He understood the most overlooked rule of conflict. People fear the unexpected, far more than they fear the unpleasant. A known danger can be managed. A predictable enemy can be countered. But an opponent who constantly shifts form, who changes tempo, who rewrites the rhythm of the fight, creates chaos in the mind. Chaos leads to impulsivity. Impulsivity leads to mistakes. Mistakes lead to defeat. And he never needed to lift a sword to make that happen. Sun Tzu let the enemy defeat themselves by guiding their expectations into a trap and letting their confidence do the rest. Most people waste their energy trying to look powerful, trying to prove strength, trying to win loudly. Sun Tzu did the opposite. He conserved energy by manipulating perception. Why fight head-on when you can make the enemy crumble under the weight of their own miscalculations? Why burn resources when you can make the enemy misjudge the terrain? Why bleed your army when the enemy's misinterpretation can bleed theirs? True power is not expressed. True power is engineered. He planned battles so that by the time the enemy arrived, the terrain, the timing, and even their mindset had already surrendered. Victory wasn't an event, it was a conclusion. One the enemy only realized after it was too late. Sun Tzu's final and most overlooked teaching is that the greatest battlefield is not external, it is internal. It is the war between clarity and fear, discipline and impulse, truth and illusion. You can deceive an enemy, but the hardest person to deceive is yourself. And yet, most people do it effortlessly. They cling to comforting beliefs. They avoid painful truths. They rewrite their failures. They follow emotions disguised as logic. Sun Tzu knew, if you cannot master your own perception, you will always be mastered by someone else's. The world is full of people who are easily manipulated because they cannot see themselves clearly. Before you conquer anything external, you must conquer the enemy within your biases, your fears, your assumptions, your illusions. The inner war is the one that decides every outer war. Sun Tzu's philosophy is simple, but demanding. He who sees clearly controls the one who does not. Power does not belong to the strong. It belongs to the perceptive, to the one who notices what others miss, to the one who shapes reality instead of being shaped by it. This is the power of deception. Not the deception of lies, but the deception of strategy. The deliberate crafting of perceptions, the silent sculpting of expectations, the mastery of what the enemy thinks they see. And once you win that war, the rest is effortless. This is Sun Tzu's war, the war on perception, the war you fight every day, whether you realize it or not. Master it, and you will never fight blindly again.